What's up, guys? As you notice, I'm in front of the rodent rack. I don't know if it's too far away or whatnot, but most of my tags are African soft furs. And if you guys don't know what African soft furs are, or ASFs, African soft fur rats, they're actually mice, but people call them rats. Don't know. They're actually the food of choice for ball pythons in the wild. Obviously, we have other means to feed the ball pythons here in captivity, but a lot of us prefer the ASFs for several different reasons. We'll kind of go over them. So, obviously, you have mice. If I can get one. You have mice, and mice are great. Mainly when you're starting balls off, you would use mice. But the fat and the protein is really not there to keep the ball pythons, or realistically any snake, on mice. So then you bump them up to, if I can get her, to rats, okay? And rats are typically what people feed their rodents. Obviously, they get a lot bigger than this. This is just my one of my holdback, my bigger holdback females. Obviously, this is what you go to the pet shop and you get. If you're not getting a mouse, you're getting a rat. And obviously, rats come in awesome varieties. For instance, this is a hairless. I'm not sure if it's really going to show you guys too much. This is a hairless Dumbo. Here's a better example of the hairless. Again, not sure if it's really going to show you guys too well. And then we also even have patchworks. Patchworks, which they will lose their fur and grow their fur over time. So this animal will end up getting completely bald and then get completely furred. Now, the patchwork is just a double Rex. So Rex basically looks just like this, but they do not lose their fur. Get down. So the mice and the rats are common, and that's, again, typically what you get when you go to the pet shop and you get feeders for your animals. But when you mess with these guys, these are African soft furs. Now, this is my high white male. I'm actually going to be trying to breed for the high whites, or solid whites, actually. I think that'd be pretty cool. In here with him, the females I have, I mean, you guys probably don't really care too much, but the females I have are solid color ASFs, solid coats. But the way the nutrition works is you have mice, then you have rats, then you have ASFs. So again, your mice, you can start ball pythons on them, but that's really all you're going to do with them. Some people will even start their ball pythons on, if you get them, little baby ASFs. Obviously, they come a lot smaller than this. This here is actually one that was just born last night. Focus. It's not really going to work. Focus. Alright, so I'm not sure how much you can tell, but this guy already has fuzz covered. You don't get that with mice or rats. They're typically not fuzzy for about a week. These guys are born fuzzy, born with a little bit of hair, and they're tiny as all get out. Little jumping beans. Obviously, you can start ball pythons on those. You get them right out the egg, and you offer them ASFs. ASFs are going to be higher in fat and protein than any of them across the board. Obviously, rats are higher in fat and protein than your mice, and obviously mice are higher in fat and protein than nothing at all. So if you can only do mice, then that's your option. But we really recommend you to do the either rats or ASFs at minimum. Again, a lot of people do the mice to start off. I don't really recommend it, but I produce mice just because some people have what they call micers, which are snakes that will only eat mice. I actually just recently got a trade-in animal. I'll put a picture right here. That guy is a micer. And all I did to switch him from mice to ASFs, or from mice to ASFs, was I grabbed a ASF, a little hopper ASF, and I put it in with my mice. Kept it in there for about 30 seconds, introduced it back to him, and he took it, no problem. And guys, I do apologize if this is blurry. I'm sorry, I'm trying. However, again, the ASFs are going to be, if you have a small ASF, you're looking at double the fat and protein as a small rat. So realistically, a small ASF is equivalent to at least a medium rat, which doesn't really sound too much different until you put into perspective that this animal is the same fat and protein content as this animal or more. And obviously, this is as big as ASFs get. About a little bit smaller still yet than this medium rat. This has the amount of protein and fat more than this guy, okay? So again, smaller but more protein and fat. So which way do you guys really want to go? When you feed the ASFs, not only are you giving them a smaller meal so it's easier on your animal, but obviously they're going to use the bathroom less. Not as big of a pile, doesn't smell as bad, and you're building up that snake healthier, faster, and stronger. If you end up breeding, what you'll notice is the ASFs will actually eat less, they will drink less, and they will stink less. I literally just changed every bin yesterday, so I mean, it doesn't really show me, it doesn't do me no justice to show what bin looks the worst. It was only been a day. But the ASFs will actually pick a corner. After about day 3, you'll notice it. They'll pick a corner and they'll use that corner only to go to the bathroom. They won't pee and poop everywhere. Sometimes they'll get poop throughout the bin, but they will specifically pee in one corner and typically poop in that same corner. Mice, completely different. Same with rats. They'll go through the whole bin and just get it all disgusting. But when you're feeding less, it costs less, and when you're cleaning less, it costs less. So if you're going to breed rodents, ASFs are the way to go. Not only are they cheaper to keep and maintain, but they're healthier for your animal. And if you breed the ASFs, you always have that source to feed to your animals, right? But if you ever get overrun, there's a lot of people always looking for ASFs to feed their animals, so you could always sell to other keepers. A lot of people will tell you that ASFs are aggressive, and yes, 100% they can be. When I started this, now I have almost all of these bins loaded up with my ASFs, but when I started this rack, I only had 4 bins of ASFs. Me and a buddy, we went a couple towns over and picked up, I don't even know, I think it was like 20 ASFs, something like that. And they was all smalls. So we started them off a little bit bigger than this guy, probably more like this guy here. We started a bunch of females and a bunch of males, and what I ended up doing is producing babies from those and just handling the babies and making sure that they knew that they wasn't getting hurt or anything like that. And now it's to the point where, obviously, as you guys seen, I can go in here, pick up a big one, and not worry about being bit. Now, you're not going to do this with just any ASF. This is not possible. It's not that it's not possible, but it's highly unlikely that you will find an ASF that you can do that with unless the work is done to that collection. Thankfully now, I no longer have the original 4 bins. I ended up feeding all those animals off as soon as I had babies that could reproduce and that were at this point tame or docile. So with that being said, you can obviously get the aggression out of them, but you really want to start with an animal that's not aggressive. So again, make sure you look into your animals and where you get them if you're going to breed them. Especially, I don't like feeding off aggressive animals because I do live feedings. I don't like to give my snakes animals that are going to hurt them or could hurt them. Yes, obviously, even these nice ASFs could potentially hurt your snake. However, the likelihood of that happening is slim to none in comparison to an aggressive animal, whether it be a rat, an ASF, or even a mouse. I've experienced all of those. You know, mean rats, mean mice, whatever. And again, the likelihood of a tame or docile rodent getting your animal slim to none in comparison. The next thing some people will tell you is if you start feeding ASFs to your ball pythons, ASFs aren't just for ball pythons. Don't think like that. But that's typically where they go hand in hand. So if you start feeding ASFs to your ball pythons, some people will tell you that they can get stuck on the ASFs, just meaning that they won't eat anything else other than ASFs from that point on. I can't speak for everybody, but in my experience, that's far from the truth. I can give my animals 3 months ASFs back to back for 3 months and switch them back onto a rat the next feeding. It's not a problem. Now, I guess if that happens, obviously you could scent your you can scent your rats or your mice to the ASFs again by dropping them in one of those bins for a couple of seconds, and boom, there you go. But realistically, that's how I do it. That's my recommendations. Obviously, you don't have to go by my recommendations. That's just me. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. Hopefully you guys can walk away with a little bit of knowledge and just check him out. Ain't he freaking gorgeous? It's not really gonna focus, but you don't typically get that solid white head. And I don't know why my camera is blurry, guys. I do apologize. But you typically don't get that white head, that white face. It's not really common. It's my favorite right now anyways. But typically you'll get the darker ones with a couple white streaks on their head, or you can even get these guys which have some black dots above their eyes, almost like eyebrows, and the majority of them is white, but not compared to my highway. I'll put them side by side so you guys can see the difference. But again, sorry for talking you guys' ears off. hopefully you like the video. If you do, make sure that you leave a comment down below to let me know. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Take care.